So a popular woman on TikTok, a self-proclaimed fat liberationist, my lord, stated that fatphobia is rooted in racism. My question is, what does racism have to do with anyone being overweight in 2021? And make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button before you get into this video. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at a little clip by that TikToker who made that statement.
Here's your reminder that fatphobia is rooted in racism. As always, if you haven't read this book, go do that. The main thing to understand is that for the last 300-ish years, white folks have been marketing fatness as a black trait. And this is regardless of whether or not black people individually were actually fat. That was irrelevant. The message they spread was that black women specifically were ravenous and uncontrollable, and these barbaric traits made them fat. On the flip side, thinness was marketed as a white trait. Again, regardless of whether or not individual white people were actually thin, that was irrelevant. The idea was that white women specifically were refined and restrained, and this led them to having delicate, thin bodies. Over the years, these messages have become more subtle, but even today, they are still very prevalent in conversations around race, health, capitalism, and poverty.
So this is the problem with cultural Marxism. And it's funny how certain people on the left will try to say that cultural Marxism is a far-right conspiracy theory when they make up words all the time, such as fatphobia, as if someone has a phobia of a person that's overweight. Which, if you have that type of phobia in America, you probably can't even go outside because everywhere you go, there is a fat person. That's just being honest. And if you're fat, it is what it is. If you're content being that way, if you want to lose weight, then strive to lose weight. But we don't need to create a whole fat phobia, in my opinion. We don't need to have fat liberationists. This is the problem with cultural Marxism, because cultural Marxism boils down to oppressed and oppressor. And if you are a liberationist, who are you trying to be liberated from? Your oppressor, which could only be who? If you are a fat advocate, I don't know. I don't know what terminology we're using now, because I never heard of no fat phobia. Because I don't know how you could be fat phobic in one of the fattest countries, if not the fattest country in the world. I don't know how you can be phobic of that when everybody has a fat relative. But I digress. But I'm not trying to totally discount everything that she said, not entirely, but the fact that you're trying to attach racism to whatever issues you believe fat people have, this doesn't make any sense. And this is another problem when it comes to intersectionality, where you are combining all of these agendas and you're really diluting more legitimate agendas, more legitimate issues. People don't have to like what you are. I know that the left has been pushing for that, but people do not have to like what you are or what you have to offer. People don't have to like you. And that's just me being real. That's me being red pill. That's me being reality based. People don't have to like what you are. People are not gonna like what you are. I don't need people to fake smile at me and fake accept me if they really don't like what I am. But the far left, they have been pushing this agenda of forced acceptance, force liking, forcing you to love something that you don't like. And imagine if we try to apply this into other everyday contexts. We know that we would not accept this. Imagine someone trying to force you to eat some food that you told them, I don't like this. I don't like broccoli. Why you keep trying to feed me broccoli? I don't like it. I told you I don't like it. And imagine that person keep trying to force you to eat some damn broccoli when you told them you don't want it. And I would not be surprised if we start seeing more and more of these so-called fat liberationists shaming people for not being attracted to what they are. And of course, there are people who are attracted to bigger women, bigger men. That's what they like. That's their thing. But there's also people who are not into that. Society is not moving in a better direction with all of this victimhood. All of this constant victimhood, never-ending victimhood. Fat phobia is rooted in racism. Fat liberationist says thinness marketed as a white trait. According to the radical wings of social media, the latest form of discrimination to have its roots in racism is fat phobia. And we saw her clip, and that was that TikTok user Hannah Fuhlendorf, who described herself as a counselor and fat liberationist. And so that video that I showed you guys got almost 400,000 views on TikTok and probably elsewhere as well. And a lot of these people that push these victimhood narratives, a lot of them just have self-serving agendas. They have self-serving agendas. According to her website, Hannah Fuhlendorf offers coaching sessions for $180 per hour for individuals and $228 per hour for couples. And see, what she is promoting, how is this going to be a benefit to society if we encourage people to just remain overweight and just be content with being overweight? As a whole, we are promoting people to be content being overweight. And we already know that this is a leftist agenda. And we know that Cosmopolitan promoted this same agenda as well. So the mainstream society is also promoting this to people, to the youth. And how beneficial is it to have a more overweight society when the medical community has already spoken out against this, and they're becoming more and more afraid to speak out against it because of people like her, because of so-called fat liberationists? They're gonna start making it a more uncomfortable subject to talk about, all for their own self-serving agenda, which in the end is gonna cause more harm to them, because we know that obesity related diseases exist. We know that they exist. And she really gonna sound like a victim with this quote I'm reading right now. My personal and ongoing experiences with fatphobia and sexism have fueled my desire to see people free from the prison of self-hate and internalized oppression. My goal is to support all of my clients in reaching their goals and stepping into their power. Very, very vague, feel-good rhetoric, which that is mostly what the left does. Just feel-good rhetoric, make you try to feel good in the moment, feel good at whatever position you're at, but not actually progress in life. Why do you think I go so hard at the left? Because how are they progressive? How are they trying to progress you in life when they want you to just remain how you are? She's not telling you how she's trying to eat more healthy, none of that, exercise more. No. She's not encouraging people down a healthier path. She's just saying step into your power, which is a vague statement of no substance. Fuhlendorf explains, in my story, that's what he said, I practice from a Haes, H-A-E-S, and fat liberation lens. I am for my work to create a space of collaboration and empowerment. Fat liberation, also known as fat acceptance, fat pride, or fat empowerment, is a social movement that aims to change the so-called anti-fat bias regarding the stigma of obesity, standing in contrast is a wide swath of criticism from the medical community, yes, arguing that the movement can promote a lifestyle with significant health consequences, yes. But I'm curious what you guys think about this whole thing. Make sure you hit the like, share, subscribe button, and blessings to you.